friends, welcome back to our channel. It is a Tribe Called Dylan podcast. I'm Angie Dillon.
And I'm Rose Dillon.
And I'm Alvin Dillon.
And we are so excited to introduce our very first podcast interview today. The individual, unfortunately, is not here because sometimes with technology, these things happen. We did not realize after the interview was done that my introduction to the episode did not record. So we're excited here. We're back again. The team is here to talk about this Enlightenment series that I want to call it. It is our Fufarji, whose name is Mr. Bir Singh Brar. He is my dad's brother-in-law, so he's married to my dad's sister. He has played a pivotal role in our family. He is a pillar of knowledge, and in Fiji, he was actually the principal of a high school called Natumbua High School in Lautoka, Fiji. He has been in the education school system for a very long time, and we hold him in high regard. So here, without further ado, I'm introducing the Enlightenment series. It's going to be a 4-part series, and we're so excited to share the content with you. I hope you enjoy. Excited to have you. As I mentioned, I know it's not every day that we get the opportunity to speak to one of our elders. I know you're very highly regarded in our family. Everyone looks up to you. And I know we have always looked up to you for wisdom, guidance, whatever it is, just because of the nature of all the roles that you've played over the years. Right. But before you just said a word that I would like to hear what your thoughts and perspective are. You used the word just right now, enlightenment. What actually is enlightenment?
Enlightenment is when you escape your ego, your aham, your self-centeredness, and you are able to see far beyond the narrow perspective that you have cultured for a long time. But it's not easy. You need gyan for it, and you need guidance for it, and that's what the gurus are for.
Mm-hmm. What is gyan? What is gyan?
Gyan is the true knowledge. It's knowledge, but even thieves are very knowledgeable on how to steal. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't call that as gyan. Gyan is, again, enlightening knowledge.
Okay.
That liberates you from fallacies and darkness that you normally envelope yourself through prejudice, anger, enmity, and so forth. All these constitute darkness, the ignorance in us. Mm-hmm. And when these are dispelled, then you see clearly what is the reality. And that's beautiful. Call it heaven, call it celestial, call it whatever you want to. Call it nirvana, mukti.
I like that name, that Nirvana. There was actually a band called Nirvana, right?
And I'm just pouring out whatever I feel. I'm not philosophizing. As I said to Alvin, I stand on the shoulders of giants to put my head above the clouds and see the perspective. And these uplifting shoulders are those of my Satgurus, my teachers, my parents, my siblings, and everybody who has taught me along the way. Uncountable. I have read so many books, and I have gained from each one of them. The universe is my teacher.
It's amazing. But Fergie, what is your interpretation of the term ego? What does that word mean to you?
Ego is self-centeredness, where whatever you do, whatever you think, it is always with the ulterior motive of one-upmanship, what gain I have, better than thou. All these things combine to give you this ephemeral concept of ego. I would say your ego is your misconception of your reality and exactly who you are. Once that ego is destroyed, you gain that sight which enables you to see the universal truth. Otherwise, you only see the truth with reference to your ulterior motives.
Okay, so if you start to remove or disassemble your ego, there's a chance towards enlightenment to flow through. Is that correct to say?
Gurbani has told us you cannot be enlightened as long as you are hiding behind this false wall or parda of haume, which is ego.
Okay.
This has to be torn apart. How can you tear it apart when you can't even touch it? How can you leave it when you hold it dear to you? Guru Maharaj gives you that knowledge slowly and slowly and slowly, and then you say, my God, why have I been churning water hoping for butter out of it? Why haven't I got milk which would give me butter? What is milk? Milks are the godly virtues, the kindness and all that. Why haven't I cultivated them to get this liberation, this nirvana, this butter in my life? I have been churning water all the time.
That is. Now, and hell, I heard you distinguish between that. Do you think those two places exist?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I don't either.
What's your take on that?
As a Sikh, my heaven is at the feet of my gurus. I'll go to hell happily if my guru is with me. If I'm with God in hell, hell is beautiful. I wouldn't go to heaven if I'm not with my guru and God.
Okay.
I'm a Sikh.
Okay. That's a great answer.
And it's not only me. I have learnt it from beautiful saints. Kabir in particular, who has contributed abundantly in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, has said, for sadhus, the realized people, there is no heaven or hell. They have cancelled both. I'm equally happy in Kashi or Maghar. These are two places. Kashi is the holy city of Shiv, and Maghar is a cursed village not far from that. People were saying Kabir lived in Kashi most of his life, and during death he came up to Maghar. They say in Kashi he would have found mukti, in Maghar he'll be born as a donkey. Right? Why did he lose his mind? He says, I don't want heaven. I don't want hell if it is not without my God. I'll go to God in hell. I'll go to God in heaven. That means if God is with me, that place is heaven or whatever name you want to see. For me, Kashi and Maghar are the same.
Okay.
It's not the place. It's what's in you
Right.
that really matters. You go to Gurudwara, if you don't have respect for Guru and you don't have love for God, going to Gurudwara, what will you gain? As I always say, and I found this, you'll sit there and look at the tamasha, kaun aave hai, keda janda ya, ki karda ya. And so often they sit, if somebody is reading or anything or giving a speech, you criticize. But ਭਗਤੀ ਭਾਓ ਜਦ ਦਿਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਪੂਜਾ ਗ੍ਰਹਿ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਣਾ ਕੀ ਫਾਇਦਾ? Why go to temple when you don't want to pray? Why go to temple if you don't want to be with God? Why go to Gurudwara when you don't want to listen to the voice of your gurus?
Yeah.
I was going to ask a question on that because you and I had touched on this before we started taping about your relationship with yourself. And that to me is why when you, like you said, when you go to the temple, you don't really have a good relationship here. What are you going to seek? Can I have you elaborate on your philosophy with your relationship to yourself?
my fundamental thinking, I use the word my because I'm still ego bound. But my Satgurus have told me, you cannot find yourself till you lose yourself. It's enigmatic, but when it's in English also. The poem Say Galahad by Tennyson, in which he said, Say Galahad, who was a very pious knight and he was in search of Holy Grail. They say he lost himself to find himself. Holy Grail was not available to anybody who was not absolutely pure. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And how can you be pure when you are polluted with ego, self-centeredness? It was only after Sir Galahad, one of the knights of King Arthur, mythological, when he got rid of his ego, his self-centeredness, he found the Holy Grail. Holy Grail is the ultimate in Christianity. Okay?
Right.
Now, how can you, I said a while ago, find the right path for yourself when you don't know who you are or where you want to go? So the fundamental thing is that you recognize who you are, what is your purpose, then only you can chart your passage in life.
Yes.
Ramana Maharishi, a great saint in South India, taught all his philosophy only with this: who am I? Who am I? Vedas struggled with this as well. Guru Maharaj has, in Jap Sahib, given us exactly the same picture. The fact is, if you look for God outside, you end up with the Vedic philosophy of neti neti. God is not this, God is not this, God is not this. Then what is God? God is not he, God is not she, God is not that, God is not it. What is God? If you keep on searching and saying no, 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 when you'll say yes? And when will you say yes? When you know who you are and you recognize him in you. Jab Sukhmani Sahib tells us, Paramatma संता के हृदय में बसे है, कोई बाहर पहाड़ पे, कोई केव में, कोई और जगह पे नहीं. Sadhu, Sant, pious people के हृदय में बसे है. I said that Bulle Shah, even the great Punjabi poet, said, break the temple, break the masjid, but for God's sake, don't break anybody's heart, because that's where he resides. Paramatma ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਦਿਲਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਸਦਾ ਹੈ, ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਦਿਲ ਨਾ ਢਾਈ. That's the ultimate sin that you can do. Now, again, this is not within your reach. So to answer your question, I would say, get in touch yourself. Isn't there a purpose for your life? Why did you come into this world? You will slowly know it when you get Gyan from Guru. That's the enlightenment. That's what dispels our ignorance, the darkness of ego, anger, panch vikar, kam, krodh, lobh, moh, ahankar. All these disappear from us. And then we are clear-sighted. Another, as Guru Maharaj said, sight is bequeathed to us with which we see. The spiritual world is real. It is not imagination. It is not something that you cannot feel. You can virtually see it every day in everything. Your perspective will change. The world will become beautiful. Your enemies will become friends when you have that sight. Your hatred would naturally turn into love.
True.
Get the idea? So
Yes.
you have to get in touch with yourself. Then you can see Guru has given you the path to go where you want to. The sole purpose of human life is to find union with the superpower, the super being, God, Allah, Ram, Krishna, whatever you want to call it. It is that in this life you cultivate to reach that end. That's nirvana.
Amazing. Now, do you think, you said we come into this world, we have a purpose. Do you think human beings, when we come into this world, are we born in the world with an ego, or do we develop an ego through society, through life, through life experiences? Where does the ego come from?
If you take a newborn child, doesn't matter to whom he was born, you put him in a Sikh family, he develops into a Sikh. Put it into a Muslim family, he'll become follower of Islam. Put him into Christian family, he'll become lover of Christ. But that's the ultimate. But what happens first? Gurbani says, when you were born, you were like a clean slate. You were one with God.
Yeah.
Your survival, everything depended on that superpower, even in the womb. Okay?
Yeah.
But once you are born, that's where your responsibilities and others start. So what are we exposed to? Ye tera peya, tuke, dad, mom, sister. You start creating a relationship. Ye tera, ye oda. Okay? You start divisions. You start that grabbing nature. That's the birth of your ego.
Oh, to be mindful.
You were not born with that
That's
ego.
what I thought. Yeah.
You are
Okay.
born with your reality.
Yeah.
But once you are exposed to Maya, as we say, the world, this engulfs us, this overpowers us. Not everybody. There are beautiful souls who never lose touch with the reality, but by far humanity succumbs to it.
Okay.
This is the test. This is the test.
The ultimate test.
Ultimate
Yeah.
test.
Ultimate test.
Right.
Okay. I have one final question for you, Fuferji, before we.
Before you ask that one question, I just have one question. You often say Sadguru. What is the meaning of Sadguru, and what does that
Not
mean?
the actual Satguru that
Okay.
we have
Yeah.
today.
No. Satguru is the enlightener because he is in touch with the Sat, the truth. Okay? What is the truth when ultimately you realize it? God, or whatever name you want to give. Okay? Satguru is the doorway to that realization. That's why he is a Satguru, and sometimes Sadguru, D comes in there instead of T. Okay? Sache Pathshah means the true king, not the worldly king, but the king that takes you into the spiritual crown, spiritual ultimate.
I see.
Okay? So, whom do we call Satguru? We know the 10 masters that God bequeathed us. Without any shadow of doubt, they are all like lighthouses standing there forever shining light on our true path. They are our Satgurus. Starting from Guru Nanak, Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Okay?
I see.
But along that, there are so many illuminated people, the Bhakts, the illustrious Sikhs, जिनके बारे में two particular ones that every Sikh is so full of reverence for is Bhai Nandalal. I know you people are not exposed to that. And Bhai Gurdas Ji. Remember what I'm saying? Bhai Nandalal and Bhai Gurdas Ji. They have written extensively. Bhai Nandalal has written beautiful poetry on divine poetry in Persian. Bhai Gurdas has written beautiful expositions of Sikh philosophy, gurus in Punjabi, in Braj Bhasha, which is one of the Hindi languages, right? Because he lived in Patna for a long time, which is in Bihar, and that's where he was preaching. So much so for Bhai Gurdas Ji, who was actually the transcribe for Adi Granth, the Granth Sahib. Guru Arjan Dev Ji dictated the Bani. Bhai Gurdas sat and scribed the Bani. He was the actual writer. Okay? Bhai Nandalal was more at the 10th Guru's place, but he was a beautiful, truly devout Sikh and highly learned multilinguist. Okay? And anyway, I don't want to go. I could become emotional. But when Guru Arjan Dev Ji asked Bhai Gurdas, "You are so learned. Please give me some verses that I can include in this." And in fact, Bhai Gurdas Ji was a mama of Guru Arjan Dev Ji. Okay? Anyway, that's what I remember. Bhai Gurdas turned around and told him, "Guru Maharaj, how can a Sikh sit on the same pedestal where his Guru is? My Satgurus are in Guru Granth Sahib Ji in his spirit. I am much better off sitting at their lotus feet, transcribing what you say, following what you say, enshrining your advice in my life. I can never be equal to you. No. Leave me at your lotus feet. Don't make me come up and sit with you." That's the heaven for a Sikh.
Okay. If I can pivot a little.
Have I answered your question?
Yes. If I can pivot as we're coming to a close now. But for non-Sikhs or for individuals that come to the Gurdwara, let's say for a wedding or for a festivity, or when a family member is doing a kirtan or khanpad, why can you explain why when we come to the Gurdwara that women sit on the left and men sit on the right, I believe, when you walk in? What's the rationale behind that?
It is societal, it's not religious.
Okay.
It is just because individuals don't come out of a vacuum. They come out of a society.
Right.
And society has certain values which have nothing to do with religion, that high spiritual philosophy, but it has to do with ethics and rehna behna, the way you practice the life.
Okay.
I'm telling you again that the ladies would be very squeamish and uneasy sitting among men. They sit all on floor at that time. That's a different issue. And men, let's say a Sora, a father-in-law, would be sitting, would feel uneasy sitting and rubbing his shoulders with a daughter-in-law or his grown-up daughter or whatever. Right?
Right.
Our society is not show-off society. It's a sober society. It is a society which runs deep in values, but not exhibitionary. And therefore, societal norms were easier on the minds. You don't go to Gurudwara to assert yourself either higher or lower, but you go there with a peaceful mind to concentrate on the divine word that is being rendered.
Mm-hmm.
If ladies are easy sitting in a group and singing in a group, in a choir, you got similar voices placed strategically so that they can match. And our religion normally is a religion of song and contemplation. शब्द पढ़े जाते ने कीर्तन कीता जाता है विचार प्रगट कीते जाते ने okay and men are equally happy as well sitting there, but I have been to gurudwaras which are very spacious, and therefore people are sitting wherever the family can be together.
Okay.
It's not that the lady should look after the children. The father would have the child in his lap and control him. The lady has equal right to concentrate on the divine flow that comes from the Guru Granth Sahib Ji. So I say again, this doesn't have a religious basis.
Okay.
It is societal need. We don't want, it's not my wish. What's the point in going to a place and sitting uneasy and not being able to even listen to the divine word? I understand why you are asking me this. It's not discrimination. It is not one is being on the right higher and being on the left lower. My Satgurus have said to the ladies, when you come into the Gurudwara, please don't have ghungat, don't cover your face. You are my daughters, you are my children. You come to me as you come to parents. There is no parda from God. You feel free rather than because your father-in-law is sitting there, tum ghungat nikal ke baithega.
So in essence, our culture is giving both men and women the right to their own space, so to speak, like their own personal space.
Preferred and personal space.
I like that. Okay, thank you for explaining, because I never understood why.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It makes sense now, where you have your own space to sit with your own thoughts and have your own dialogue with God, so to say.
And the men can feel comfortable talking openly,
Makes
and the women
sense.
can feel comfortable talking openly.
Amazing. Yeah, absolutely. Now, in closing,
when you go to a party, don't you form a clique of friends?
automatically.
Yeah,
so
true.
When it's free, you take your drink. Oh, I'll go there because so-and-so is there.
Yeah.
Right.
Is there discrimination? No. But then somebody who's open-hearted, he has no enemies. Everybody is a friend. So he'll freely flow in the party.
Right.
And not stand aside in one corner and stand to be approached. Okay? He is merged with the group.
Fuferji, you've given us such amazing content today. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hey friends, I hope you, or I should say, we hope you enjoyed Enlightenment series with Mr. Bir Singh Brar. Was that not such a, I don't know how to say the word, but like like there was moments, like Oprah says. Very deep. I don't know about you, but I definitely got a shift in my mind.
Absolutely.
I feel woke.
It is, and that's why I'm calling it the Enlightenment series. So we hope you, our listeners and our viewers, were able to take away some valuable pieces of information from that podcast interview. And guess what? There's going to be some more. We're calling it the Enlightenment series. So that is, stay tuned, because we're going to be dropping a few more episodes from that amazing interview in the months to come. Until then, please stay safe. Please stay safe. See, this is what happens when you get too excited. Please stay safe. Take care of yourself. And we'll be back next week. We are a Tribe Called Dylan podcast signing off. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.